Hello, dosto. Welcome to the SNS Cricket Diaries with me and Srinivasan. Welcome once again to another podcast. और guys, इस हफ्ते बहुत मैचेस हुए हैं और हम एक बार फिर से आपके साथ लेके आए एक और एपिसोड ऑफ द एसएनएस क्रिकेट डायरीज जहाँ पे हम डिस्कस करेंगे आंखों देखा हाल जो वर्ल्ड कप में अभी तक रहा है. So firstly, welcome Shri to the podcast once again.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot to all the viewers who watched our channel, liked our videos. We really hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that you continue watching and following us.
Absolutely, absolutely, Shri. I think हम देख सकते हैं that we have been getting some increased views and I think people are liking the content. So I think our effort is that we just need to put in more and more of the same, and I hope that you continue to enjoy our conversations. So ऐसा करते श्री लास्ट टाइम हमने जब बात किया था द पॉइंट्स टेबल वाज क्वाइट डिफरेंट. ऑस्ट्रेलिया काफी नीचे थी बट अब यू नो हाउ वन वीक मेक्स अ डिफरेंस इन क्रिकेट. नो, वी नाउ सी ऑस्ट्रेलिया सर्जिंग बैक इनटू द टॉप 4. पाकिस्तान थोड़ी सी अब स्लिप हो गई नीचे एट नंबर 5. We'll discuss all that. So the talking points that we have in today's episode are, firstly, we'll review the two of the important matches according to us that were India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, Australia, two big games that happened. And we will definitely also talk about the two upsets that have happened so far in the tournament. उसके बाद हम थोड़ा look forward करेंगे to India's match against New Zealand and of course the worries that India have now with Hardik Pandya not available. So we'll see how the team balance plays out in that. So let's head off, Shri. Let's start off with the India-Bangladesh game. Bangladesh came into this game looking fairly confident of giving India a good run for their money with the recent record that they had against India, winning 3 out of the last 4 games. However, they batted well at the beginning, but then couldn't take the momentum forward. They ended up making 256 for 8 in their 50 overs. Once again, Jasprit Bumrah was on the top of his mark. Again, Siraj was a little expensive, but the key event of the day happened when Hardik Pandya trot on the ball and on his follow through, and he twisted his ankle. So Pandya could not play any further part in the game. We'll talk more about his injury later on when we do the review of India New Zealand. But then when India batted again, a rollicking start by the openers Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill, they gave us an opening partnership of 88. Rohit Sharma looked well set for probably another century, but he couldn't get through to his half century. We will talk about his batting and his, I think, sort of a renaissance that has happened in his batting. Of course, Virat Kohli then marched on to make a brilliant 48th ODI 100, and the scenes towards the end stage of that game when Rahul was refusing the singles. We'll talk a little bit about that also. But then, yes, a comprehensive win for India that takes them to number 2 now on the table, just behind New Zealand on net run rate. So, your first impressions, Sri, about the India-Bangladesh game?
Yeah, it was a good game for India. I mean, I felt that they strengthened their hold over their so-called momentum in this particular World Cup. I felt Bangladesh could have done better. I mean, they could have, consolidated in a better way on the start that they got from Tanzid and Litton Das. If you look at Tanzid Hassan, he scored 51 of 43 at 118 strike rate, which is a very healthy strike rate against a good bowling attack like India. But I think they targeted Mohammad Siraj particularly because he's been off his regular consistent line, if you can say, and the length as well. Okay, he's been going leg side-ish, and he's been wavering both sides basically. Again, another point of note is Litton Das. He's such a talented batsman. I think I've been fascinated by watching him. I'm going to play some really significant innings in the recent past, Sid, if you recollect. But his striking prowess is something that really is something noteworthy coming from a Bangladeshi context. He's a very good batsman. He reminds me of some attacking batsmen that have played for India. But I think Litton Das really needs to consolidate on his talent and recent glimpses of good form and score more. I mean, he got out at 66 to Jadeja. With a strike rate of 80. I mean, that's not a problem there, but I feel that he should have gone on to score a century. Tanzid, they rate him very highly in Bangladesh. And I was looking at some analysis where it was advised that these are the best talented cricketers coming out of Bangladesh, the Premier League there and all.
Right.
So Tanzid is one of those guys. So it's really good to see him. But the bottom line and my takeaway was Bangladesh need to step up if they want to play in the big league. They need to convert those 50s or 60s into hundreds. Now they missed Shakib, but they had players like Mahmudullah. Another thing that we need to discuss is why is Mahmudullah batting so low down the order consistently? 7, 8, sometimes, you push him to 8 as well. There is no point in doing that. He should be at least 5 in my book. So, I mean, right now he's so low. Mushfiqur Rahim is also low. I mean, Rahim can bat there, but Mahmudullah needs to come one up.
Right.
My main concern is Bangladesh's strategy and not consolidating on the starts that they got and Mahmudullah's position. Coming back to India, Bumrah, amazing. Siraj, a bit of a concern we can discuss. Kuldeep Yadav again pulled back Singhs, okay, although he picked up 1 wicket. And in batting, what do I say? I mean, you've got Rohit Sharma, who's he's found a new version of himself, turning back the clock. I think he's doing like a aggressor sort of a role. And I mean, it's brilliant that Kohli is able to consolidate on the recent, a new lease of life that his batting has got post his captaincy. So a lot of points there in this particular game set.
Right. And yes, if we talk about India's bowling also, हमने start काफी tight किया था, although we didn't pick up any wicket in the first 10-15 overs, but I think first 7-8 overs तक हमारी bowling काफी tight थी, and thanks to Jasprit Bumrah. But again, Siraj, he is, I think ever since that break, I think he got after the Asia Cup final, he didn't play the first 2 games, if you remember, against Australia in the bilateral series. उसके बाद से I think almost every game he has been quite expensive. How worrisome what is wrong with Siraj right now, and how worrisome it is for India going ahead?
I think it is just that he needs to get his rhythm back up. Maybe missing a game here or two can, disrupt the form. He needs to get I think the main strength that Siraj had was his line and lengths. The angle that he created to left handers, just leaving them, just cutting across them was amazing. That when he came here in Australia, he did that really well in his debut series. So he needs to get that line and length, his natural angle back into the left-hander and away from into the right-hander and away from the left-hander. So it's a matter of practice. I was hearing somewhere that Shami might come in against New Zealand, and they might change that a bit. But we'll talk about that later. But Siraj is not a major concern, but there is the management needs to do something about it, because if they target the opening bowlers, and if Bumrah has an off day and Siraj goes the way he is, what do you think Indian bowlers will do? I mean, it's only Kuldeep and Jadeja who are there. So it is imperative that opening stance in terms of our fast bowlers, we pick up at least 1 or 2 wickets.
Yeah.
And then it gives that sort of a room for Kuldeep and Jadeja to come in, otherwise Indian bowling can look a bit under pressure in the upcoming crucial games against New Zealand, South Africa, and England. I think that's where there is a weakness there in the Indian bowling, I feel, if the opening bowlers are targeted and Siraj has a very bad day and Bumrah has an average day. But so far, Bumrah has been holding his, fort. And then Kuldeep and Jadeja are coming in. So we are not feeling that sort of... And Pandya was also picking up 1 or 2 wickets here or there. Yes. So what are we going to do now is the question.
Exactly. And I think the fact that you very rightly mentioned that Kuldeep or Jadeja की जो performances रही हैं अभी तक काफी अच्छी रही हैं, and उस वजह से सिराज के performances को थोड़ा सा हम ignore कर पाए हैं. But if one of the days you're saying Bumrah अगर उसका off day, if let's say even if one of the two of Jadeja or Kuldeep अगर उनका off day रहे, because we're going to play matches in Mumbai, although that's against Sri Lanka. With all due respect, I don't think they can pose that much of a challenge for us. But then against the other teams, जिनके पास big hitters है, अगर Kuldeep और Jadeja में से even अगर one person has a bad day, then Siraj's lack of consistency will be highlighted even more. So I think that therein lies a potential weakness or a threat for the Indian bowling team. Shri, looking at again, Bangladesh's batting, of course, Even Mushfiqur Rahim हम देखें तो बहुत low आया है. He came after players like Mehdi Hasan Miraj and Tauheed Ridoy. So in the absence of Shakib Al Hasan, now how important was Shakib Al Hasan's absence, Shri, to Bangladesh?
Very much, because he's their cog that binds them together in terms of batting and bowling. He picks up wickets definitely in bowling. Batting में वो consolidate भी कर पाते हैं, थोड़ी लंबी innings खेल लेते हैं compared to the others, और थोड़ा attacking cricket भी खेल सकते हैं. So he binds them together and lifts them to another level. But without that, मुझे अभी तक समझ नहीं आया कि रहीम और महमूदुल्लाह इतने लो क्यों कर रहे हैं. So
Yeah,
above them came Mehdi, Miraz and Tawheed
yeah,
Ridoy.
yeah.
So I think it should have been the other way around.
Mm.
Mahmudullah, then Mushfiqur Rahim, and Mehdi, and then Tawheed, just for this particular game.
Yeah,
Why?
because I think they
Because if
lacked
they
that
had built
experience.
that, exactly. I mean, if whatever foundation the openers built, Litton and what do you call Tanzid,
Yeah,
they would have actually built up on that. And I'm pretty confident if Mahmudullah and Mushfiqur came at what do you call Mehdi's and Tawheed's place, they would have gone closer to 300, and if
absolutely.
not lower 300s. And that was needed to challenge the Indian batting, even though India could have chased 320 easily, I feel.
Yeah, that's true. And you look at Mahmudullah, if you remember, Shri, that time from 2015 to 2019
Oh,
was
yes.
a golden period for a lot of the Bangladeshi players, and Mahmudullah was at the core of it because remember, he struck a century in the 2015 World Cup. I think it was against New Zealand, and
Yeah.
then in the Champions Trophy against New Zealand, if you remember, Bangladesh was chasing something on the rounds of 260, 270 against New Zealand. They were 33 for 4, and they ultimately won because of centuries by him. And I think it was either Shakib Al Hasan or Mushfiqur Rahim. So
You know, they were asking the same question then as well. Why is he batting so low?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been going on for the last 6, 7, 8 years.
And especially in the absence of Shakib, I think they should have come up. But anyway, I think that was a think tank decision, and they really left, I think, easily about 30 to 40 runs out there when they came out. And India's bowling, of course, yes, Jasprit Bumrah again pick up the ballers. That how about that Yorker to Mahmudullah? I mean, right at the base of the stumps, Shri. I mean, this guy is amazing, Shri, when it comes to variation and accuracy.
That is something that it surprises everyone, but shouldn't be very surprising because we are used to that from Bumrah. But he can bowl Yorker at any time of the game, starting, middle, end. So he's like a all sort of season player within the match as well. Like he can do anything, anytime. Amazing thing is he can do the slower ball Yorker, which he did against Sean Marsh in Australia. He can do the cutters as well, which he did against the Pakistani wicket keeper. So he's got all sorts of killer deliveries, killer as in that they will definitely hit the stumps kind of a thing. Mahmudullah was settled.
Yeah.
He was not a new batsman. He castled him, and it's a different level altogether. If you look at it, I was amazed by it. I mean, in the 90s, we would dream of such things. Sid, if you remember, if you throw back to those days,
Yeah.
I mean, Srinath used to bowl some odd Yorkers here or there, but not as often as what Bumrah is doing.
Yeah.
Zahir Khan started bowling when he
Yeah.
came in the early 2000s in Champions Trophy. He
Yeah.
got a couple of wickets against Australia there, and I was so amazed that we had some Indian bowler bowling consistent Yorkers. But Bumrah, as you said, brilliant, amazing, and he shut the Bangladeshi resistance, whatever they provided in their batting lineup through Mahmudullah. He's their best batsman. I mean, look at his hitting, Mahmudullah. He
True.
hit, a big six, and he's a talented batsman. So amazing. And we should talk about Jadeja and Kuldeep as well.
Yeah. No, I think see
Yeah.
Kuldeep ka to Shri. In fact, I was about to come to that. See Kuldeep, of course, we have talked a lot about his second coming and why he's now bowling a little faster than what he was earlier, which is I think helping him get that zip through the wicket and really not giving too much time to the batsman. But I think we must talk about Jadeja because Jadeja ko utna credit I think uski bowling ke liye milta nahi hai jitna usko milna chahiye, especially in this tournament. Because his role as a second spinner is so much more important because we are actually banking on him on his full 10 overs. I think earlier what used to happen in ODI cricket was that when he was there with Ashwin, I think usko 6-7 overs ke baad बहुत rarely I think usko 10 overs karate the. But I think with this bowling lineup that we have, he's one of the 4 bowlers who is expected to bowl 10 overs, and because then you have Hardik and either Shardul or Ashwin if he comes. to share the burden of the fifth bowler. But so I think Jadeja, I want you to talk about Jadeja. What is he doing so well? Because even against Australia, if you see that
Yeah.
partnership that was happening between Smith and I think it was Warner, Smith and Labuschagne, or rather, Smith when he got out to Jadeja, I remember. So and then he was the one who picked up those crucial wickets. And so Jadeja, what is he doing that is helping India? Actually?
I mean, he's been consistent. I mean, that's the bottom line. He's really quick with his run up as well. Doesn't give batsmen time to settle. So that's an often ignored point of view from the commentators. I don't. I mean, they used to point it out before, but Jadeja turns quickly. He has got a few steps, and he's right there, and he's very quick. 90 plus kilometers per hour, sometimes hitting 100 as well. So the fact is, batsman doesn't get enough time to set up against him. The other thing is, with that speed and angle, some do turn and some stay with the arm, which goes straight. So again, the Smith one turned right. I mean, it really castled and opened him up. And he was like left waiting for the ball coming with the arm. So, and it went the other way, straight hitting the off stump. So that is a pure genius of Jadeja, who has the control over the fingers, the arm, and the angle with which the arm goes down with the follow through. It all helps the ball go in the right trajectory. He doesn't bowl long hops, if you notice. He doesn't bowl full tosses. Full toss. I've seen some bowlers, Osama Mir from Pakistan. I think he's a promising talent, but he bowled a lot of long hops, I feel, against Australia, which we can discuss later. But bottom line, Jadeja, he's got his mechanics in order. He's got his run up. He's got his variations of the pitch and off his arm as well, like the angle from which he delivers. These are the things that make him amazing. And he's a natural athlete, so he can field well of his own bowling as well. So it's an all-round sort of effort that he does. It can't be ignored.
Absolutely. I think that, and I think his role ahead going into the next few games is also going to be very important, especially with Hardik Pandya not being there. Shri, let's talk about India's batting now. Quick start, 88 runs for the first wicket in just 12.4 overs when Rohit Sharma got out. Now, I want you to tell me, Shri, Rohit, of course, we've spoken about him last time also in the India-Pakistan review that we did. However, is he taking the aggressive approach slightly bordering to a bit of rationality? Because I think he is missing out on a lot of centuries, I feel.
I think that's not the point if you ask Rohit Sharma. If you ask him this question, he will say, no, my objective is to get to a rollicking start and put the pressure back on the bowler. I have other batsmen doing the job. So actually, that mindset that I'm setting up innings to a century is more of a 90s mindset, 2000s mindset. Now the mindset is I'm going to go all guns blazing, especially the first initial overs, so that the bowlers are on the back foot. If I get out in the process, so be it. But if I get a century, that's like a byproduct of the aggressive approach, which is similar to what you see in baseball, traditional baseball for the last 1.5 years. So Rohit Sharma is going to go all guns blazing, but see that impact his innings have. The bowlers get stunned, the field goes a bit defensive, and then you got Virat Kohli and Rahul coming in later in the order, and they are able to cash in on that. So it's brilliant. First wicket fell Rohit Sharma at 88 runs, and that, I think, that did the job for us, because what was the chasing target? What were we chasing? We were not chasing 300 plus. We were just chasing 256. 257 was the target. So I think that's amazing. I have no complaints with Rohit Sharma, especially the pull shots he's playing.
And you talk about pull shot. I think Sanjay Manjrekar made a very good point on his dismissal that I think Hassan Mahmood, the bowler who dismissed him, he was actually cranking up a bit in terms of his pace. And there was, in fact, one short ball that Rohit Sharma ducked under, which is something that even Manjrekar mentioned in the commentary. It was not something very common to see. And he did hurry Rohit Sharma up a bit. And actually, if you see the dismissal, he was trying to play the ball, trying to play it down rather than lifting it up. And what the commentator said was that was probably the reason why he ultimately couldn't really hit the ball well. And so I think a credit to Hassan Mahmood for continuing the short ball strategy.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, I would feel that he was brave enough because he's the best pullers of the ball, Rohit Sharma. Against previous teams, he has been smashing it. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you live by the sword and you die by it, as the saying goes.
Yeah.
In this case, he did fall to it. But
Mm.
I have no complaints, to be honest with you, in the context of what he's been doing in this World Cup. He's been brilliant, and I think he should be continuing the way he is. I feel that Shubman Gill should, push his game a bit more. Like instead of doing the 50s and 40s, I think Shubman Gill should, take it a bit deeper. I feel. I think he has the gears to, start a bit okay, more conventional way, and then once he goes deep past 50 and 60, then see if he can just push it a bit, because Rohit Sharma is the ultra aggressor at the start. That's
Yeah,
my sort of,
I think it's just the numbers fan in me, wanting
yeah,
to. I think when you're chasing to just once you've got that start, once you've got about
yeah,
100 runs in the first 12, 13 overs, to
yeah,
just take it a bit easy. And why don't you? I mean, why not get a century? You already got 7 in the World Cup. Might as well end
mhm,
up with 10 or 11. So anyway,
yeah,
that's the number fan in me speaking, Sri. But I think you make a very valid point. I think it's ultimately about the team. Um, Now, again, Virat Kohli, he got a couple of gifts early on with two free
yeah,
hits from Hassan Mahmood, and
mhm,
he got off to a good start. And
yeah,
ultimately, he just played a very typical Virat Kohli innings.
mhm.
We've said enough has been said and written about Kohli. Shri, what is it that we can add to this contribution? But um, any word on Kohli? I think the only positive thing out of this, of course, apart from the win and his century, is that he is in form. Rohit and Virat are in form going ahead to the more crucial and I think sterner tests, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we need him. I think our real test will begin now.
Mm.
And Virat Kohli, I mean, what can I tell, man? I mean, he's played half the innings that Tendulkar did,
Mm.
and he's already one short of his century. He's what,
Yeah.
48 now?
Yes.
I'm looking at his start. He's 285 matches, 273 innings, and he's got 48 tons, and that is amazing. Remember when Sachin got all those tons? Sachin got 48 in the 2011 World Cup from memory,
Yes.
and that was his what, 400 plus innings.
Yeah. Yeah. Against
I
South
mean,
Africa, of course. Against South
yeah.
Africa.
So Sid, it was like 400 plus innings,
Yeah.
and Kohli is just 273 innings. So Kohli is, like a 2.0. Obviously, we can't compare
Mm.
like on an equal platform, different eras altogether. But what I'm trying to say is Kohli was when he between the years 2016 to 2019, he was unstoppable. 2018, he
Yeah.
was unstoppable. So I mean, he's taken it to a different level, and I think it's a testament to his fitness. He was running the twos during the latter part of his innings. He's running the twos. He's fielded for the first innings, and he's running the twos. So I think it's not just the batting; it's his attitude. There was a point of time, I think, after 2011 World Cup, where he took fitness very seriously.
True.
He was this chubby Delhi guy. सब खाने का शौकीन था जैसे हम जैसे दिल्ली वालों की तरह. And an event changed his perspective altogether, and he completely changed his diet, fitness, and we should इट्स आई थिंक मन तो करता है कि उसकी बैटिंग के बारे में हम बात करें इन आइसोलेशन, बट इट्स हिज ओवरऑल पर्सपेक्टिव व्हिच इज रिफ्लेक्टेड इन हिज फिटनेस, हिज एटीट्यूड, which is keeping test cricket at the top, and playing for the country with the highest pride. That is obviously lifting his skill to a different sort of a realm of maybe aliens, I think.
Absolutely. A word on Bangladeshi bowlers, Sri. Do you think they could have done anything different? Do you think they have the bowlers there to trouble batsmen from of such quality?
They can trouble. They can trouble. They are not a poor lineup. I mean, with Shakib coming back, if he comes back, you've got Shoriful. I feel Shoriful is a good prospect, and Mustafizur. He's been okay. But the talent. He's very well good with slow ball cutters and all that stuff. So they've got the talent. If Mehdi Miraz bowls well,
Yeah.
which I think he has a potential to be a good experienced one-day bowler, they can be a decent team. I think they need their batting to click. They need their batting to think like a world-class team, which I think they still feel like minnows at some level. They have that complex. And why are they sending Mahmudullah again so
Yeah.
low down the order? It's baffling. I can't have any sort of rationale for justifying that. I think Alan Donald is part of their coaching staff.
Yes. Yes.
I don't
Yes.
know. What are they thinking, man?
No, I think Alan Donald, I think has done a lot in terms of the bowling. I think Taskin Ahmed's has come back pretty well after a lot of injuries in the middle phase of his career. He's now looking a more more potent bowler, although I think he didn't play it in that match. But I think Alan Donald has done some good work. But I guess a lot has got to do with the Bangladeshi pitches also back home. If they continue to play on slow and low turners, then I think even their batsmen can't really aspire to or don't know how to build an innings and get those big 300, 320, 340 kind of scores. So I think they need to relook their domestic structure also. Yeah.
100%. I think domestic structure, the pitches, maybe give more incentive to good bowling. Like I think they should give some sort of a what do you call encouragement to seam bowling. I think once they do that, they will encourage better batsmen and also good fast bowlers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that, we'll wrap up this part of the episode. So of course, India winning their fourth straight game, so which takes them to number two, slightly behind New Zealand in terms of net run rate. But then the thing is that they and New Zealand are the only two teams who are unbeaten. New Zealand with 1.92 run rate, net run rate, and India with 1.65. So a difference of just about 0.3 points. So I think with that, we wrap up this part. Now we come to yesterday's pretty entertaining game, Shri, between Pakistan and Australia. Australia winning that game by 62 runs, an explosive opening stand of 259, Shri, between Warner and Marsh. I mean, दोनों ने क्या धोया है पाकिस्तान को और पाकिस्तान की बॉलिंग एक बार फिर थोड़ी लैकलस्टर लगी. शाहीन शाह अफरीदी did pick up 5 wickets. पाकिस्तान ने बहुत अच्छा किया in the last 10 to 15 overs to restrict actually Australia to 367. Otherwise एक टाइम पे ऐसा लग रहा था कि 400 420 तक भी हो सकता था. ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लिए एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग इनिंग्स रही श्री की. उनके बैटिंग में बियॉन्ड देयर ओपनर्स उनका हाईएस्ट जो स्कोर था वो सिर्फ 21 था. And that sort of made me feel that there is still a bit lacking in the Australian middle order. So ultimately scoring just 367 from a position जब आप थे कि जहाँ पे आपने almost I think 297 बनाया था after 40 overs. So I think Pakistan fought back well. Shaheen Shah Afridi pick up the ballers again, 554. When Pakistan started their batting again, Abdullah Shafiq and Imamul Haq gave them a very good start as they had done against India. So I think there is a bit of a consistency, stability there at the top, Shri, which is I think a good point for Pakistan. Please, I want you to focus on that. Uske baad, again, Babar Azam, only 18. He pulled a short ball from Zampa. Was a very good catch by Cummins. But again, Babar ka wo innings abhi tak nahi aaya, Shri, and that is a cause for concern. Rizwan, Saud Shakil, Iftikhar Ahmed, Mohammad Nawaz. इन चारों they form the fulcrum of that middle order. आप देखिए कि कोई भी एक substantial knock आगे जाके खेल नहीं पाया. And because of that, Pakistan were dismissed for 305 in 45.3 overs. They didn't even last the 50 overs. They could have easily probably come closer to 340, 45 अगर वो थोड़ा और smart खेलते net run rate के लिए. Mitchell Stark again picked up wicket. He's having a wonderful streak in World Cup cricket. There's not been a single World Cup match in which Mitchell Stark has gone wicketless. But the pick of the ballers was Adam Zampa, Shri, और Adam Zampa ने क्या एक comeback किया है after below par performances against India and South Africa. If you see Zampa ने I think पिछले मैच में भी 3 या 4 विकेटें ली थी. आज के मैच में भी, कल के मैच में भी उन्होंने 4 विकेट लिए, 4 for 53. And Marcus Stoinis ने जो पहले दो ओपनर्स को आउट किया, 2 for 40. So although his figures might look expensive, but I think Glenn Maxwell और Stoinis के 10 ओवर में सिर्फ 80 रन गए हैं. मैं कहता हूँ सिर्फ 80, although it is 8 runs per over, but I think looking at the overall target that they were chasing, they missed out on hitting them. So ultimately Pakistan losing by 62 runs. Shri, your first impression on that match?
So I think it was largely the Australian openers who set up the game for them with that huge, humongous opening partnership, taking full advantage of the shorter boundaries of Chinnaswamy Stadium. एक बात तो तय है कि उन्होंने, I mean, Chinnaswamy has become like a 6-hitting ground over the years. Remember the first IPL game, but obviously so many games have been played there. We're known for hitting the top tier of the stadium. Like जो कोने जो सबसे ऊपर होता है. Chris Gayle has hit there so many times. So Australia ke liye, it's still not like they're far cry from what the team they used to be in the 90s and the 2000s, right? I mean, they are still not at that level. It's clearly a different team, but it's that tenacity of the Australian spirit through David Warner and Mitchell Marsh. Amazing partnership, amazing six hitting from both of them hitting 9 sixes each, if you noticed. And Mitchell Marsh gave himself the best birthday present with that century as well. Now, the concerns that I have is the batting order, middle order, Steve Smith and Manish Labuschagne. Labuschagne is not like a modern day one-day player. He's more like a 90s one-day player. He's a good test match batsman, but when Head is not there, Travis Head, when they went to him for some sort of a reliability, Josh English, we've seen his attacking form, but he didn't do well. He scored just 13. Stoinis has to step up. I don't know what Maxwell was doing after that opening stand.
Yeah.
First ball, and even if you look at it's okay, maybe he's trying to hit the the big one, clear the boundary. But if you look at the angle of the bat, it was just slicing upwards. So even if he had connected it properly, it could have gone maybe just higher. Maybe he didn't, it was not a good shot, even by Maxwell standards. So that is the main concern that I have is their whole team is not performing in terms of batting. Steve Smith is lacking. If someone really puts them under pressure in the opening, stance, I mean, they pick up a quick wicket, you can run through an Australian team or you can restrict them. But having said that, it's some sort of a resilience that you associate with Australian team, that's coming forward. The Aussie spirit is coming forward. In terms of their the Pakistani batting, I think the main concern is Babar Azam. In this game, so far, he has not hit a big one in this World Cup. In this game, he had to come good in order to chase that humongous target of 368. ओके सो बाबर आजम की इसमें बड़ी कमी महसूस हुई, उसको आना था बिकॉज ओपनिंग स्टैंड बड़ा अच्छा था ना अब्दुल्ला शफीक और सॉरी इमाम का. I mean, Babar had to come, yeah. And दूसरी बात थी कि Rizwan has got a start, Saud Shakil has got a start. So that was a disappointment that they didn't go beyond 50. I mean, वो पहले ही आउट हो गए. और एक बड़ी चीज है जो पाकिस्तानी खुद बड़े लेट डाउन फील कर रहे हैं बिसाइड्स बाबर आजम, वो है इफ्तिकार का फॉर्म. Iftikhar is like that, that one day figure where Moin Khan, the end mein aake he used to like do some good hitting. They are expecting that from Iftikhar, and thoda shepherd करें और ले जाएं आखिरी तक, वो नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. Because if he does that role, he also bowls. He's a very valuable player. So that's a big disappointment. I mean, that's my criticism of Pakistani lineup, that the middle order from Babar Azam, they have failed them. Otherwise, they are a good team. They need these people to be consistent. And that's the batting lineup for both. We can discuss the bowling. We can, analyze the bowling.
Shri, if I go back to Australia's batting, Osama Mir ne catch drop kiya tha when Warner was just. I mean, how crucial was that? And why is it that Pakistan continue to drop catches which just can't become so crucial? I mean, you look at the 2021 T20 World Cup semi-final, Matthew Wade ka catch jo choda, I think it was Hassan Ali that time. And then in 2019 World Cup, David Warner ka hi catch per se, I think Asif Ali or someone else was there who dropped it. He went on to score a century actually in that game also. So, what do you think that Pakistan can do to improve their fielding streak?
It's the mind. With the Pakistani cricketers, their mental stability in terms of resilience during crunch situation is wavering. And that's why they have, they say on any given day, 2 Pakistani teams can turn up. Yeah. One is one which can outclass anyone. One is one which gets, stumped and they crumble. So this one was very simple drop chances, which was expected of Osama Mir. I mean, David Warner, imagine how much he went on to score after that.
Yeah, I mean.
So that was a big one. And then Abdullah also dropped the catch later on.
Yes, then 109, I think.
Yeah. So I mean,
even at that point, Shri, 109 maybe if he was, I think they could have saved easily about 30-40 more runs.
Easily. And if Pakistanis held on to their catches, this could have been a tighter game because they went on to score 305. Yeah. See, anyways, I think Pakistan, we need to touch upon the fact that this was a 400 score from Australia. The way they started with the humongous partnership, it was a minimum 400. But Pakistan with that Shaheen Shah Afridi's fifer, I don't know how he came back and, he didn't lose it. See, one thing we talk about Pakistani crumbling in pressure, Shaheen Shah did not crumble under pressure. His mental stability was there, and therefore he picked up those 5 wickets. If you look at, I want you to look at the Pakistani bowling lineup. I mean, Hassan Ali bowled all right. He didn't, I mean, 7 runs per over. I mean, okay, but the most disappointing one was Haris Rauf. I mean, Haris Rauf was just pace, and then he tried bowling some slower balls, but going at 10.37 over runs per over, it's leaking runs. And then Osama Mir could have been. I think he was playing his first game, so I think he felt the nerves, to be honest. But can I tell you one thing? He's a very promising sort of prospect for Pakistan if they play him regularly instead of Shadab Khan in limited overs. He's a wrist spinner. He can pick up wickets. He can be a lethal weapon for them.
Yes, I think Osama Mir playing his first game, so we should give him some
exactly.
But yes, I mean, dropping those kind of catches never helps. So anyway, Australia's bowling, Shri, what do you have to say about their bowling? I think Adam Zampa, I said before that I think is slowly coming back to his best.
Yeah, Zampa is coming back to his potential. That's what everyone expected of him. I mean, there is obviously a curse of every leg spinner coming out of Australia to, come and perform under the shadow of Shane Warne, the great Shane Warne. But many have gone. Zampa is a very good bowler coming from the rigors of Big Bash League. He's earned his stripes. He's very smart. He's a very relaxed customer, chilled out, but he's doing well. He's bowling his line and length pretty nicely. The ball's leaving his hand in a very nice way, if you look at it. And his flippers and the other ones are going well as well. The main concern is Mitchell Starc. Even though he's picked up wickets in every game he has played so far in World Cups, his economy, his strike rate is a big concern for Australians. That needs to be looked at as well. By no means they are looking unbeatable, like in both batting and bowling, the middle order of Australia and the bowling firepower. Starc is not picking up 3 wickets or 4 wickets. He's just picking up 1. Yeah. And he gave away 65 runs in 8 overs at 8.12, Sid. So that's still a concern. Yeah. It's still a bit of a concern that there's no one else. And Pat Cummins has not kept the bowling radars going as well. This game, he picked up 2 wickets, but 8.26 runs per over. He's not bowled that well in one-day international. So Australia, if they want to really be a serious contender, they really have to pull up their socks in all and their fielding. I mean, Harsha Bhokle was he tweeted on the X platform that when do you remember Australia feeling so poorly? It's very rare to see that. They dropped some catches as well.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I think overall they need to pull up their socks, but slowly but surely they're coming back into this points table.
Yeah.
As you can see.
You can't write them off, basically.
Yeah. So as we can see on the points table, Australia are at number 4 now, and they are now strong contenders to be into the top 4. Which I think when we spoke about them after the game against South Africa, it was looking like a pretty a bleak possibility. But you see Australia now with still in negative net run rate, but for 2 wins out of 4. Pakistan have dropped down to 5. They have some important and sterner contests coming up the next few games. So
what if I tell you, Sid, that if 1, 2, and 3 looks good with New Zealand, India and South Africa, the fight for spot number 4 is between Australia, Pakistan, England. 3-way fight. Who do you think is going to be on top?
I think
for the 4th spot.
I think Australia with their power and their presence would probably go through.
You reckon? So New Zealand, India, South Africa, and Australia?
Yeah, it looks like. Although I do feel that in the top 3 also there might be a bit of a change with Australia probably going to come back into the top 3, I think, or rather enter the top 3. So I think there could be a bit of a change there.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how India plays in these big games now. If the first big game, if India manages to win, is that with New Zealand?
Yeah, we are playing New Zealand.
If they manage to beat New Zealand, then I think no stopping India, at least till the semifinals.
Yeah,
but if they stutter,
we'll talk more about in the review because New Zealand has been a bogey team. But Shri, I think one important stat from the Pakistan-Australia game, which I'd like to share with you and our viewers, is that Pakistan actually bowled 152 dot balls So they actually bowled more than 50% of their balls as dot balls, and still they ended up conceding 367. So, Osman Samiuddin, a very, very renowned Pakistani cricket writer, has also written in his article for Cricket for that their dot balls were so, the balls that were not dot balls were actually so bad that they ended up conceding fours and sixes out of them, and not just singles and doubles. So I think therein lies some sort of a story in terms of how Pakistanis bowled. Anyway, so this review of Pakistan Australia is also done, and we look now at the two upsets that happened, Shri, in the last week since the time that we did the podcast. We were looking at Netherlands and South Africa, and we're thinking whether South Africa would be thinking about the T20 World Cup. But again, this being a 50-over format, would have probably thought that no, an encore would not happen. But hey, there it was. Netherlands ने फिर से साउथ अफ्रीका को एक आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट में बीट किया है, and what an amazing win, Shri. What do you have to say about Netherlands' performance that day?
I mean, a spirited performance. If you look at the batting order, batting lineup, I mean, they ended up scoring 245, which is not a massive total. It's more of South Africa capitulating out of nowhere. I mean,
No, but Shri, 245 and 43 overs. So you have a run rate which is nearly 6 runs per over.
Yeah, I mean, when I say that, what I meant is like against a team like South Africa, it could have been better to be really competitive. It's just that South Africa capitulated so badly. Now, if I look at the batting lineup of Netherlands, I mean, you got former South African players, giving them the what do you call the tough time. You got Van der Merwe and others who really came. I mean, if you look at it, the last 3 or 4 batsmen, Scott Edwards scoring 78 at 100 strike rate, Van Beek and Van der Merwe, who played for South Africa, scoring at 152 strike rate, 29 runs of 19 balls with a 1, 6, and 3, 4. So basically,
Aryan Dutt also. Aryan Dutt.
He hit that one. He hit 3 sixes, but that a couple of them I was really impressed, man. He should be batting higher up. I mean, the way he hit those, like towards the leg side, cow corner, amazing, man. And one thing I wanted to let you know is that these guys have the knowledge of South African cricketing style. That's why they're able to compete with them in this game, I feel. Now, obviously, Van der Merwe is a very big sort of, he's got a big resource into South African system. He's played for them for a long time. And in terms of their bowling, you got Van Beek bowling really well. Again, I think the captain has to bat well. I feel Temba Bavuma has to step up and start scoring above 20s and the 30s.
Yeah.
So he should have taken that step up, because you can't expect Quinton de Kock to play every game with a century. So I think Markram didn't do well this time. He's been doing well. Miller tried his best. Again, it was disappointing to see South Africa capitulate, but I think, telling you, if I'm not wrong, that it's good that they got an upset right now. And I want to see how they bounce back. And are they going to, go above and transcend the chokers tag this time by getting an early upset and then rebuilding around that and see where the weaknesses are?
Right. And I think the one silver lining for them was that the fact that they have got this one bad game in the early part of their campaign. So probably that then good for the rest of the tournament, and probably they might not have such a bad day. But full credit to Scott Edwards, the captain, scoring 78 not out, and Netherlands at one stage were 112 for 6. So anyway, I think that was a wonderful performance by Netherlands. While we don't quite expect them to make any further upsets, but hey, you never know, Shri, ki kab kya ho jayega. So I think they have definitely told the other teams who are yet to play them that you better not take us for granted, and there is a potential banana peel out there, no? And similarly, Shri, we look back at Afghanistan versus England game that happened in Delhi. Afghanistan, the minnows have actually batted well. Generally, हम देखते हैं कि जो minnows होते हैं वो, I'm talking about maybe in the 90s and 2000s, जब maybe 200, 220 बनाते थे, and usually they would end up winning only by batting first. So this has also happened this time, but of course Afghanistan ने India के against भी 270 बनाया, अब England के against 284 बनाया, and they won that game, and England just looked out of sorts. So what are your impressions about the England Afghanistan game, Sri?
Yeah, it was the England batting lineup of the 90s, I felt somehow struggling against spin bowling and the mystery spin of Mujib and Rashid. I mean, Mujib picked up 3 wickets. Rashid Khan picked up 3 wickets again. They could not read them. It was a struggle for them. And if you look at their bowling, they let Afghanistan get away to a 284, which is a bit of a setback for them. I mean, even though scoring 284, you expect England to chase with their baseball approach, but with the spin that Afghanistan had, England stood no chance basically. And if you look at Afghanistan batting, the top two did well, and then the bottom, if you look at the late order of Mujib's scoring as well, we don't expect him to score all the time. We are more used to seeing Rashid Khan hit those wacky shots, the flat batted or the flick bat shots and all the stuff, or the slapstick shot. But Mujib played as well. So there is one criticism of Mark Wood that does he bowl Yorkers that often? That came up after this game as well. So he should have not led the lower order with his pace, wagged like this. So I feel England's weaknesses were exposed to good quality spin. Afghanistan is a strong team. Now, their weakness was meant to be batting, remember? But they did well. They're improving in their batting. And again, they still have a weakness. Mind you, if their main player is Gurbaz, इफ गुरबाज खेलता है ना, जब वो अच्छा खेलता है, उसने 80 बनाया ना, अगर वो गुरबाज नहीं खेल रहा तो उनका बैटिंग 200 तक जाएगा बस. So that is one key thing. They need number 3 and 4. They need you've got Ikram, who's a very good batter, who scored 58, mind you, but they need number 3 and 4 to strike to build that platform.
I think Rahmat Shah or Hashmatullah Shahidi, they are struggling right now with their batting, and I think वो जो inexperience है to take the innings forward after a good start, when you get a good start from the openers, I mean उन्होंने 114 runs बनाए first wicket के लिए, और उसके बाद we needed to consolidate. So I think because of lack of one days and more T20, we are seeing a pattern emerging now. When we used to have ODIs and one days, हम ऐसा करते थे, stereotype करते थे players के test के लिए, और transition to one day cricket or from one day to test was an issue for a lot of players during those times. अब वो पैटर्न हम देख रहे हैं with ODIs और T20 के बीच में भी एक बहुत बड़ा एक गैप आ रहा है, श्री. We are seeing that these associates or even a lot of the players from Sri Lanka also, they're just playing so much of T20 that they're not able to sort of understand how to build that innings from 20 overs to 50 overs. So I think that is also...
I think there's a very good point you make, Sid, because there's a contradiction going on. We are talking about whether one-day cricket is relevant anymore. People are saying, okay, let's just have no bilateral and just focus on one-day World Cups every 4 years. But as you say, if they don't play any one-dayers, they will just be playing T20, and that attitude and skill also will come at these World Cups. And that is the reason why there are so many one-sided games.
True.
And Sri Lanka epitomizes that. Once they were such an amazing one-day side during the times of Jayawardena and Sangakkara, and now they are not able to stitch up an innings. I mean, look at Shanaka and all. I mean, though he's not playing now, but he's not able to consolidate. He was not able to, take it forward. So only Kusal Mendes is one player I see who's got that talent and who has got that ability to, score a century like that. But Patum and all others need to do much better. They need to consolidate. I think one thing that's missing, Sid, to answer your question, one sort of what do you call root of all problems of these low-scoring, one-sided games is the lack of rotation of strike. I mean, all these batsmen from Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, they're not rotating their strike. So that's, even England, when they were struggling against spin, they were going for those big hits, right? And they were getting caught trapped on their pads and all this stuff. They were not rotating that strike that much. So that is my key sort of problem. Certain teams are doing well, but those who are not rotating the strike, building that base, they're just going down the barrel.
True. So, I think, so with that, we wrap up this particular part of the minnows upsetting the apple cart. And as we see, the two teams who were defeated, England and South Africa, are right now playing. South Africa 364 for 5 in about 47.3 overs. And so they're going great guns on a very flat Wankhede track. So from here, we go to the last part of our episode. That is the looking forward to the preview of the India-New Zealand game that's going to happen tomorrow at Dharamshala. The big news, Shri, no Hardik Pandya. अब ये हमारे लिए कितना बड़ा loss है, Shri, and how do we now fit in the players that are there? What is the playing 11 that you think is going to come up tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big news. As you said, put it correctly, succinctly there. We have replacements, but not within the same player. I mean, Hardik Pandya दो लोग काम करता है. He's an all-rounder after all. So हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा, Sid, कि we have to bring back Shami and we have to bring back one batter. So ईशान यानी तो सूर्य कुमार यादव को लेके आएंगे, हार्दिक पांड्या बैटर की जगह, एंड शार्दुल की जगह एक बॉलर आएगा. I mean, that is what is being thought of right now. So either bring, I mean, Shami aega, okay? And then we will have either Ishan or Surya Kumar Yadav. That is the only solution I see. There is nothing else. I mean, most likely वही होने वाला है देखना.
I think
So,
that's what they're going to do. I think it will fit them well to go with 7 batters and 5 bowlers that way. Because I think otherwise it's going to be very tricky for them to get. And New Zealand has always been a bogey team, Shri. What do you think with New Zealand? New Zealand also is actually facing a tough opponent, a big opponent for the first time, actually, apart from, of course, yes, England.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about New Zealand? How are they going to shape up tomorrow?
They're going to be consistent. They're going to be the way they have been so far. The question is, how will India approach it? और एक बात है कि वो बोगी वाली बात is very much true, but that's mostly in the knockout stages. Remember, like last World Cup as well and all that stuff. So, but the point I'm trying to make is, this is still the league stage, and I feel India still has got a good chance. Now, if India managed to win this game, which I feel is a challenge at the outset, if they win this game, then you can't stop India. I think England and South Africa will find it really tough. But if India lose this game, then obviously it's going to be again, what's the team combination? Should Ashwin be there? Should you bat Surya Kumar Yadav to be more attacking? All those things will come up. But there is a better chance for India, is all I can say, because this is primarily league stage. अगर ये semi-final होता ना, मैं भी थोड़ा कांप रहा होता.
But Shri, which are the New Zealand bowlers that we should be wary of? Of course, the usual suspects, Trent Bolt and Matt Henry. But हम ये जो स्पिनर्स हैं न्यूजीलैंड के, उनको कैसे टैकल करें? मिचेल स्टैंटनर ऐसा लगता है कि वो उसको कोई मार ही नहीं पा रहा है.
मिचेल स्टैंटनर, I mean, you talking कि कौन सा bowler critical है? My straight answer is Mitchell Santner. Actually, it's pretty key, because if you're not able to rotate strike against him, बड़ा मुश्किल होने वाला है, because he can pick up the wicket suddenly. If you're facing Mitchell Santner for 6 balls, कुछ ना कुछ वो निकालेगा. ठीक है, कभी पैड में लगेगा, कभी बाहर जाता है उसका, and he varies his pace as well. So if we are able to negotiate Trent Bolt at the start, अगर रोहित शर्मा ट्रेंट बोल्ट की इनकमिंग डिलीवरी से आउट नहीं होता ना, तो इंडिया अच्छा खेलेगा, because he will score a quick fire 50-60.
Yes, but Shri, how do you feel about the fact that हमारा अभी तक middle to lower order की बारी इतनी आई नहीं है, टेस्ट नहीं हुए, and the same thing happened in 2019 also, Shri. League stages में रोहित शर्मा, शिखर धवन, of course he got injured after the Australia game in that World Cup, but then Rahul and Kohli ने brunt of the bowling देखी. But the moment the semi-final came and those 3 got out, and we just couldn't handle the pressure. So is there a concern that our middle order has not been tested yet?
It is a big concern, 100%. And I've not seen Jadeja get the pressure as a batter. I've not seen Jadeja with the 3 wickets remaining, 4 wickets remaining, and 60-70 runs to hit. Right. I've not seen him in that situation, so that's a big concern for me. I mean, Shardul Thakur, who's been playing as an all-rounder, वो तो इस position में आया नहीं अभी तक. And I'm very... Shardul Thakur can be like that figure in Lagan, यार, जो गुस्से से बैटिंग करता है ना, एंड में आके करके. So he comes like that sometimes. He just hits. He doesn't.
But Shri, Shardul ने again Bangladesh के against भी 9 overs 59 runs. तो ना उसकी bowling ना batting इतनी inspire करती है. So I mean,
it's just the potential. I mean, they like him. They like the fact that he commits himself. Batting और bowling में एक आध wicket ले जाता है, कभी-कभी मार देता है. But my concern is Shardul, the batter, has not been tested in these recent situations. I mean, it's going to be very tough if it really comes down to number 6 and 7. अगर कोहली नहीं चला, राहुल नहीं चला और रोहित नहीं चला ना, तो बड़ा मुश्किल होने वाला है, बिकॉज लोअर ऑर्डर पे प्रेशर आएगा. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज टेलिंग यू that India is going to be tested from now on, and I'm very worried about the New Zealand game.
Yeah, yeah. I think, and you are right when you said अगर ये टेस्ट हम पार कर लेते हैं तो I think that will
बस.
give us a lot more confidence actually than probably Australia or the win against Pakistan. Somehow I feel looking
Yeah.
at the past experiences we have had
Hmm.
that अगर हम इनको बीट करें तो एक ना एक अंदर से कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा. So I
वो तो
think
आएगा पक्का. वो तो आएगा. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू ऐड वन पॉइंट टू दैट सेट कि अगर इंडिया न्यूजीलैंड को हराता है, then skill wise no one is on our level, on India's level, because India is going to be the best team anyways. If India beat New Zealand, that is, I mean, they have all bases covered, is what all the commentators are saying. But as we just discussed, there are a few loopholes: low middle order batting and the bowling part as well. Siraj slash Shami coming in, is he going to be up to the mark with the lack of match fitness? मैं एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ कि if India beats New Zealand, then
yeah,
India is definitely going to the semi-finals. Okay, semi-finals will be all about the mental game.
yeah,
Then it will all be about the pressure, whether वो knockout का ये choker वाला pressure आ गया, then if we can overcome that, we will win the World Cup. If not, it's going to be tough. But right now, skills ka test hai abhi. It's not the mental stress right now. It's a test of those weak areas. The all-rounder spot, the fact that Hardik is not there. Is Shardul going to be there, or is Shami coming in with Ishan or Surya Kumar Yadav? If Shami comes in, is he good to go
right.
with the lack of match practice? And what about the lower batting order, Jadeja and all that stuff? Those are the concerns India is going to get tested on.
Well, with this, we will do a wrap of this edition of the podcast. Thank you so much, Sri. I think we've covered quite a few important points, and we look forward to now the game between India and New Zealand tomorrow. As we see, South Africa are just going bonkers right now. They've scored 385 runs with still about 8 deliveries remaining. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this podcast, and we'll now look forward to probably the next weekend, either a Saturday or a Sunday. But if you look at some of the key matches coming up that we are going to look back, one, of course, will be the India-New Zealand game. And India, of course, plays England then on next Sunday. So we will probably do an episode on Saturday and preview that. But Pakistan has two crucial games coming up. One is against Afghanistan, and seeing the recent history between Afghanistan and Pakistan, won't be as one-sided a contest as probably it would have been in earlier times. Then again, Pakistan also plays South Africa. So I think those are two very, very interesting matches to look forward to, apart from the India-New Zealand game. So do stay tuned to this channel, and we look forward to having your company again next time. And till then, a goodbye. Yeah.
Goodbye. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you've come this far in the video, please recommend our podcast to your friends and family. And we do have some shorts on our channel as well, which are just 60 seconds. If you are running short of time, just look at those shorts and comment whatever you think about them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri, and have a great day. Bye.